Starting at my far left, Richard Schmidt of Cohn & Marks, the association's attorney. Jody Enda of Knight Ritter. White House Press Secretary Joe Lockhart. Peter Mayer of CBS News. Steve Holland of Reuters, the incoming Vice President. You may recognize him, Jay Leno, host of NBC's Tonight Show. Lori Santos of United Press International. Arlene Dillon of CBS, the incoming president. Karin Jurgensen, editor of USA Today. Helen Thomas of UPI, dean of the White House Press Corps. Carl Cannon of National Journal. And Doug Mills of Associated Press Photos. We're honored to have so many guests in the ballroom tonight from the West Wing of the White House. As you may possibly have heard, we also extended a top secret invitation to that other West Wing in the parallel universe out in Hollywood. Please watch the screens in the ballroom to see what I mean.
Good morning, everybody. I have a quick announcement. We've been asked to put together a short film for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Before taking your questions, I'd like to say what an honor it is for us to be among such distinguished company, and we're very glad to have the opportunity to participate. Katie.
CJ, were you guys their first choice?
That's a good question. I'm assuming they asked the Sopranos first, but I'll check that out. Steve.
CJ, is the White House concerned that the president may have already used his best jokes at the radio and television dinner?
Well, I'd be lying if I said we weren't, Steve. Any other questions?
I've got a question.
Excuse me?
I said I have a question.
Okay, what's your question?
Who are all these people walking quickly through the hallways?
Joe.
I'm just asking.
All right, can we cut? All you guys take 5? You know, Joe, we're here doing a nice little film for the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and you gotta come in here and nudge me about the people walking too quickly in the hallways.
I didn't come here to nudge you about people walking too quickly in the hallways.
Then why'd you come here?
Well, to be honest, the president would prefer if you guys didn't come to the dinner.
Didn't come?
Yeah.
Why?
The president has a problem with the show.
What?
People walking too quickly through the hallways.
The president does not have a problem with our show. The president has never heard of our show. This is all you and your niggling little complaints.
Allison.
Hey, Dulé.
What's going on?
Joe Lockhart says we can't do the Correspondents' Dinner because he doesn't like the people walking in the hallways.
You want me to kick his ass?
Look,
I'll do it. I'll kick his ass, Allison.
It's okay.
Okay.
Look, Allison, the White House Correspondent Dinner is meant to honor serious journalists. A lot of people are really uncomfortable with the Hollywoodizing of government. And frankly, no self-respecting White House press secretary would ever be publicly associated.
Hey, Dee Dee.
Oh, hey, Joe.
Oh, Dee Dee, I can't believe you're doing this. You worked at the White House. You worked for the president. Why would you hook up with a Hollywood TV show?
Hey, Miss Myers.
Hey, Stanley.
Your big bag of money.
Great. Thank you, Stanley. I gotta go, Joe. I got a thing.
Listen, Allison, anyway, would you pass on to the cast that regrettably...
No, you can pass that on to the rest of the cast yourself, Joe.
Yeah.
Richard, this is Joe Lockhart. He says we can't do the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Why?
Too many people...
Walking quickly in the halls. They're speedy people, Joe. They're very fast.
Look, Richard, it's not just the people in the hallways.
What else?
Well, Vice President Gore thinks the show's too liberal.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
I see. You know, for a cautionary tale about vice presidents confusing the properties of fiction and reality, Mr. Gore might want to hit a website called www.danquayle/Murphy-Brown.
Look.
Let's go.
You know, in real life, this room doesn't exist.
In real life, that would have hurt. Rob, Brad,
Hey, oh, hey, Allison.
Joe Lockhart's here.
Oh, hi, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
He says we can't go.
What are you talking about?
He's in a bit of a mood.
I'm not in a mood.
Joe. You know, I think I know what this is about. Believe me, Brad and I can completely understand.
He's right.
You know, every week we get the script and we wonder, did we get the A story, or are we going to be the guy delivering 3.5 pages of exposition about the census?
What's your point?
Well, my point is, you're feeling down. 8 years, 3 press secretaries, you know, maybe Mike and Dee Dee got all the best material.
Look,
He's absolutely right. I'll tell you how you handle this. You march yourself into the Oval Office, you go straight up to the big guy, you say, "Hey, Scooter." You call him Mr. President?
yeah,
You say, "Hey, Mr. President, what gives? Let's get something going."
I'm leaving now.
Not yet, Joe. One more stop.
My very own. I thought of that.
I love this part.
Well, you got a case.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, Allison, what's going on?
Joe says we can't go.
Want me to kick his ass?
Hey,
I'll do it, Allison. I'll kick his ass.
Is he in?
Yeah, he's in, but, you know.
Okay.
what was all that about?
Don't worry about it.
Did you call the fingerprint lab on the bar glass? Oh, forgot.
Martin. Martin. Martin, Joe Lockhart is here.
These objects on my desk. Sometimes the prop man comes in here and moves them ever so slightly. It's beginning to have an effect on me, but I won't say anything. I won't give them the satisfaction.
Allison, is he okay?
Joe, if you'd spent 1.5 years of your life on a jungle island with Francis Ford Coppola and Marlon Brando, we'd cut you some slack.
Mr. Sheen?
Mr. Sheen is my son. Please, call me Lillian.
Mr. Sheen,
The
it's just
people
that-
walking quickly in the hallways.
Yes,
Don't you see it, Jim?
Joe.
Don't you see it, Joe? Don't you see what a compliment it is? That the spirit, the youth, the promise, the purpose, the foibles, the fables, the troubles, the intellect, and mostly the energy of the last 8 years have been alchemized into a theater piece that celebrates the White House as nothing short of a boulevard.
That makes sense to me.
Really?
That was very good, Martin.
Yeah, because, you know, sometimes with the long speeches, who the hell knows what's gonna happen.
Well, I gotta go. But I want you to know that I go with a reawakened pride in my work and a newfound respect for yours. Thank you, both of you. And please, be our most honored guest at this year's White House Correspondents' Dinner.
You bet.
Excuse me.
He'll get the hang of it.
Yes, sir.
This year, the White House Correspondents Association has overhauled our scholarship program, increasing its outreach to DC high schools and tripling the amount of money we give in awards. We're also delighted to report that we received an unprecedented number of entries this year for the 3 journalism prizes we administer. The judging was directed by Northwestern's Medill School of Journalism. Presenting the Scholarship in Journalism Awards is the Dean of the White House Press Corps, a former president of this association, Helen Thomas of UPI.
Good evening. The Frank Cormier Scholarship is named in honor of the late Associated Press White House correspondent. The $10,000 award goes to Nakia Williams, a senior at the School Without Walls. Nakia works on her school's literary magazine and on the DC Public Schools educational TV station. She credits her mother, a teacher's aide, with instilling the desire to learn in all 6 of her children. Now turning to the Journalism Awards. The Edgar Allan Poe Award honors outstanding regional reporting and is named for the beloved correspondent of the New Orleans Times-Picayune. The award goes to Sam Rowe of the Toledo Blade for exposing a long-concealed health risk to workers at a nuclear weapons plant. The Merriman Smith Memorial Award for deadline reporting is named in honor of my former colleague, the legendary White House correspondent for UPI. The award in the print category goes to Jody Enda of Knight Ridder for her poignant story about President Clinton's day with refugees in Kosovo. In the broadcast category, the winner is Gary Nuremberg of Tribune Broadcasting for a report on Monica Lewinsky's deposition that the judges praised as balanced and fast. The Aldo Beckman Award is named in honor of the former Chicago Tribune bureau chief. It goes to Gene Cummings of the Wall Street Journal for stories the judges said made her readers witnesses to the insider decision-making process. The Raymond Clapper Memorial Award is named for the Scripps Howard correspondent who died covering World War II. The award goes to Helene Cooper and Bob Davis of the Wall Street Journal for reporting on China's entry into the WTO. Second prize is shared by David Wood of Newhouse News Service for his coverage of national security, and Richard Whittle of the Dallas Morning News for his reporting on Texas lobbyists. Finally, the Worth Bingham Prize in memory of the late journalist honors reporting of national significance. It goes to 4 reporters with the Associated Press: Sang-Hung Cho, Charles Hanley, Martha Mendoza, and Randy Hershaft. They are honored for revealing a massacre at the bridge of No Gun Ri when American troops killed hundreds of refugees during the Korean War. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. It's been my privilege to serve as president of the White House Correspondents Association over the past year. I have to admit to being a little concerned that the most famous White House correspondent during my tenure was someone best known for going down with the Titanic. Still, this year, we worked with Joe Lockhart and his press staff on important issues of access and workspace, and we brought communications with White House regulars into the internet age. We worked with Sue Hazard in the White House Travel Office on trying to keep costs down so that news organizations aren't priced out of the business of covering the president on the road. And I'd like to thank both Joe and Sue and their staffs for their help this year. We also renewed our protest to the National Park Service for its long-term plan for the White House because it fails to guarantee continued access by reporters to the president and the senior staff. And we've embarked on an exciting project with the museum in conjunction with the White House Historical Association. We're mounting an exhibit exploring 200 years of press coverage at the White House. The exhibit, called Access to Power, opens at the museum in September and will run through the inauguration next January. We hope you'll have a chance to see it. I've received a lot of help through the past year. My thanks to the members of the association's board for their hard work, to USA Today's editor, Karin Jurgensen, and publisher Tom Curley for their support. And to my husband, Carl Lubsdorff of the Dallas Morning News. I didn't figure that'd be an applause line, but he is also one of my predecessors in this post, and I appreciate his advice and encouragement. Now it's my honor to present the incoming president of the association. She is the senior producer in Washington for the CBS Early Show and the first broadcast representative to serve as president of the association since board positions became elective offices 8 years ago. Please welcome Arlene Dillon.
Very good. I trained them. Thank you, Susan. President and Mrs. Clinton, ladies and gentlemen, 7 years ago, no, just kidding. 5 years ago at this very dinner, 2 things happened to me that changed my life forever. One professional, the other personal. First, I was sitting at a table in the middle of the room, and I couldn't see the head table very well, but I knew they were having a pretty good time up here. So I turned to my colleague, Bill Plant, and I said, Bill, how do you get to sit at the head table? He looked at me and he said, well, you have to run for the White House Correspondents Association and be elected. Then he gave me that all-knowing Bill Plant grin, that conniving Bill Plant look. Some of you know it well. A few days later, I was sitting in the White House briefing room, minding my own business for a change, and a voice came up from behind me. The voice said, I understand you want to be on the board. I turned to see Terry Hunt. Terry, I said, I don't want to be on the board. I just want to sit at the head table. Terry gave me one of his no-nonsense looks, and he said, look, I think you'd be pretty good. You ought to run. And so I did, because everybody that knows Terry knows what Terry wants, Terry gets. I was first elected to the board in July of 1995, and I must tell you it's an experience I wouldn't have missed for the world. It's not just this dinner. Although sitting at the head table does have its advantages, we do eat first. But it's been a pleasure working with all of my colleagues who make up this inexplicable animal called the White House Press Corps. We have many differences. Those of us from the television side, the radio side, the print side, the photo side, and now even the internet side. But our similarities are much greater. I'm very excited about serving as your president for the next year and continuing to build upon what the presidents before me have accomplished. Certainly following in Susan's footsteps will not be easy, but I'm committed to working for all of you and to making our transition to a new administration smooth and simple. Now, I want to take a moment here, just a moment, to calm the nerves of those who are a little frightened about a network television person running the White House Correspondents Association. I understand there's a rumor going around that I might have an agenda. Rest assured that I do not. In the last 3 years, I've had 2 babies, and I've taken a job as the senior producer on The Early Show. Believe me, if and when there's time for an agenda, you'll be the third to know behind Bryant Gumbel and my husband, Dan. Speaking of that, I told you 2 things happened to me 5 years ago. Well, that night, I escorted a gentleman from the White House staff named Dan Wexler. Someone had just introduced me to him, and I thought he might make a good source. Well, I'm here to tell you I was completely wrong. He was a lousy source, but he makes a great husband. Thank you all, and have a wonderful evening. Before I step down, I would like to present something to our president, Susan Page. This is, let's hold it this way, huh?
It's upside down.
Oh, sorry. Upside down. This gavel is presented to Susan as a reminder for all her hard work and in gratitude for what she's done to make the board so successful this year. Susan.
Thank you, Arlene. We are making history here tonight. Calvin Coolidge was the first president to attend our dinner, but no president then or since has achieved the landmark that President Clinton reaches tonight, a perfect record of attending 8 dinners as president. He's attended when times were good and when times were tough, and we appreciate it. We're also delighted that it was possible for Mrs. Clinton to be with us tonight. So I hope you'll join me in raising a toast to the President of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, the President.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. President Page, President-elect Dillon, distinguished guests. I am really happy to be here. Happy to be reunited at long last with the White House press corps. If I may, let me direct your attention to a photograph. Taken just moments ago, it proves beyond a doubt that I am indeed happy to be here. Now, wait a minute. It seems that my hair in that photo is a little longer than it is tonight. So maybe I am happy to be here, and maybe I'm not. Feel free to speculate. Admittedly, looks and photos can be deceiving. Now look at this photo. It's a recent one of the Vice President applauding one of my policy initiatives. But look a little closer. Those are not his real hands. Now this photo. It made all the papers, but I have to tell you something. I am almost certain This is not the real Easter Bunny. The next one is my favorite. I really like it. Let's see the next photo. Ah. Isn't it grand? Oh. I thought it was too good to be true. But there is one thing beyond dispute tonight. This is really me. I am really here. And the record on that count is clear. In good days and bad, in times of great confidence or great controversy, I have actually shown up here for 8 straight years. Looking back, that was probably a mistake. In just 8 years, I've given you enough material for 20 years. This is a special night for me for a lot of reasons. Jay Leno's here. Now, no matter how mean he is to me, I just love this guy. Because together we give hope to gray-haired, chunky baby boomers everywhere. Tonight marks the end of an era, the after-dinner party hosted by Vanity Fair. As you may have heard, it's been canceled. Every year for 8 years, the Vanity Fair party became more and more and more exclusive. So tonight it has arrived at its inevitable conclusion. This year, no one made the guest list. Actually, I hear the Bloomberg party will be even harder to get into than the Vanity Fair party was. But I'm not worried. I'm going with Janet Reno. Now, the Bloomberg party is also a cast party for the stars of the West Wing, who are celebrating the end of their first season. You'll have to forgive me if I'm not as excited as everyone else is at the thought of a West Wing finale party. But I got to give them credit. Their first season got a lot better ratings than mine did. Not to mention the reviews. The critics just hated my Travel Office episode. And that David Gergen cameo fell completely flat. Speaking of real-life drama, I'm so glad that Senator McCain is back tonight. I welcome him especially. As you all know, he just made a difficult journey back to a place where he endured unspeakable abuse at the hands of his oppressors, the Senate Republican caucus. I am glad to see that Senator McCain and Governor Bush are talking about healing their rift. Actually, they're thinking about talking about healing their rift. And you know, I would really like to help them. I mean, I've got a lot of experience repairing the breach. I've worked with Catholics and Protestants in Northern Ireland. I've worked with Israelis and Palestinians, with Joe Lockhart and David Weston. But the differences between Bush and McCain may be just too vast. I mean, McCain is Bush's running mate. Hasn't the man suffered enough? They've only got 7 more months to investigate me. That's a lot of pressure. So little time. So many unanswered questions. For example, over the last few months, I've lost 10 pounds. Where did they go? Why haven't I produced them to the independent counsel? How did some of them manage to wind up on Tim Russert? Now, some of you might think I've been busy writing my memoirs. I'm not concerned about my memoirs, I'm concerned about my resume. Here's what I've got so far. Career objective, to stay president. But being realistic, I would consider an executive position with another country. Of course, I'd prefer to stay within the G8. I'm working hard on this resume deal. I've been getting a lot of tips on how to write it, mostly from my staff. They really seem to be up on this stuff. And they tell me I have to use the active voice with a resume. You know, things like commanded U.S. Armed Forces, ordered airstrikes, served 3 terms as president. Everybody embellishes a little. Designed, built, and painted bridge to 21st century. Supervised Vice President's invention of the internet. Generated, attracted, heightened, and maintained controversy. Now, I know lately I haven't done a very good job at creating controversy. And I'm sorry for that. You all have so much less to report. I guess that's why you're covering and commenting on my mood, my quiet, contemplative moments, my feelings during these final months in office. In that case, you might be interested to know that a film crew has been following me around the White House, documenting my remaining time there. This is a strange time in the life of any administration, but I think this short film will show that I have come to terms with it. Could we see the film?
Well, with the Vice President and the First Lady out on the campaign trail, things aren't as exciting as they used to be around here. In fact, it's really starting to wind down.
There's bipartisan support for it in Congress, and it meets the principles I set out in my State of the Union. If they send me the bill in its present form, I will sign it. Okay, any questions? Helen?
Are you still here?
Radio just doesn't capture the sadness, the isolation of it all, so I've just stopped reporting it.
Joe?
It's 2:45.
Anybody home?
There's no one in the place except you and me.
John? Maria?
So set 'em up, Joe. I got a little story.
What am I going to ask the guy? I mean, I have nothing to ask him. I pass.
He's yesterday's news. Who's next?
Drinking, my friend.
Hello, White House. Hold, please.
To the end.
Hello, White House. Please hold.
Brief episode.
Hello, White House. White House. Hello, hold, please. Please hold.
Make
No,
it
Mr.
one
Podesta's not here now. Would you like his voicemail?
I feel bad for him. It looks like he has nothing to do.
I'm a little bit worried about him.
This morning, for example, he came into the Oval Office for our meeting, and I said, Mr. President, is everything all right? And he said, yeah, what's the matter? And I said, Mr. President, you're wearing your pajama bottoms.
I really have nothing to say about that.
I wish I could be here more, but I really think Bill has everything under control.
Wait! You forgot your lunch!
Well, I think his legacy is going to be the natural environment, improving the green spaces of our country. I've urged him to spend more time on that.
The president's schedule is just as busy as ever. He's just doing different things.
And one more for the road. You'd never know it, but buddy, I'm a kind of poet. And I got a lot of things I'd like to say. And when I'm gloomy, won't you listen to me?
I feel really bad for him. I wish there was something that would cheer him up.
Yes! Hey, there you are. Come with me.
All right, Mr. P. You ready to start?
Show me email.
Okay, let's light this candle.
I want to see eBay.
Yeah. Just like that. You're riding the wave of the future, my man. Now, what do you feel like buying?
I want to buy a smoked ham.
Excellent choice. Right, you're there. You're almost there. How many are you going to buy?
Wait a minute.
What's the problem? Chicken?
What does it cost?
Name your own price, my man.
Oh, well, we're stocking for winter.
Let's do it! Yahtzee! All right, you did it, my man.
B9.
You sunk my battleship.
Yes! I want to thank the Academy for this tremendous honor. This may be the greatest moment of my life. I mean, ever since I was a little boy, I wanted to be a real actor. No, just leave your money in your pocket.
Sweet.
Pretty good, huh? Get all you want. You like me! You really like me! Now, you know, I may complain about coming here, But a year from now, I'll have to watch someone else give this speech. And I'll feel an onset of that rare affliction unique to former presidents, AGDD, attention-getting deficit disorder, plus which I'll really be burned up when Al Gore turns out to be funnier than me. But let me say to all of you, I have loved these 8 years. You know, I read in the history books how other presidents say the White House is like a penitentiary and every motive they have is suspect. Even George Washington complained he was treated like a common thief, and they all say they can't get away, can't wait to get away. I don't know what the heck they're talking about. I've had a wonderful time. It's been an honor to serve and fun to laugh. I only wish that we'd even laughed more these last 8 years, because power is not the most important thing in life and only counts for what you use it. I thank you for what you do every day. Thank you for all the fun times that Hillary and I have had. Keep at it. It's a great country. It deserves our best. Thank you, and God bless you.
I'm back. Thank you, Mr. President. Our next speaker was an up-and-coming comedian when he wowed this dinner in 1987. Now he's the host of the nation's premier comedian showcase. From NBC's Tonight Show, Jay Leno.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. That was a fine, fine speech, although Al Gore says he would have handled it differently. But I thought, because you all sense the sadness that President Clinton feels about leaving the White House. And believe me, Mr. President, there was no one sadder than I am that you're leaving. You bought my house, you bought my car. Everything I have, I owe to you. I couldn't have done it without you. I want to say a special hello also to the wife of the most powerful man in the world, Andrea Mitchell. Andrea Mitchell, where are you? Andrea Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen. Andrea Mitchell dated Alan Greenspan for 12 years before he married him. See, some people do anything to get a story, ladies and gentlemen. That is a reporter. What is home like for them? You know, when he wakes up in a bad mood, does she run to the phone, call her broker? Look, sell. Just sell everything, damn it. I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. Just sell. And, of course, it's an honor, obviously, to be here tonight with the press and, of course, the president. And, by the way, for the First Lady, don't worry about leaving a tip. I have taken care of that for you. So that will never happen again. It's all been done already. Those oversights can often happen. Of course, we have 7 cast members from West Wing. That's West Wing, the favorite show of the Democrats. Every Democrat loves that show. But George Bush says no. He says he's going to watch tomorrow night, the NBC miniseries, the 70s. Not because it's a better show. It's just he doesn't remember it, and it'll be a learning experience for him. And it'll bring back some issues. You know, I look out at all these press people. What do we got, 700 of them? And I wonder, who the hell is watching Elian, huh? What is going on there? A lot of controversy. Was the government right? Was the government wrong? 60% feel the government did the right thing in taking the boy. 35%, no, they disagree. But 98% of the people want to know, what the hell was that creepy fisherman doing in the closet at 5 o'clock in the morning, huh? Who is that guy? He's like the Latino Cato Kalin. Where did he come from? What does he do? You see, I blame the father. The father handled this all wrong. The father should have come to our American legal system from the beginning. He should have flown to Miami, walked up to the house, slipped on the front stairs, sued the Gonzaleses, got the house, get them evicted, sell the house, go back to Cuba, the richest guy on the island. That's the American way. That's the American way. And one of the things I most admire about President Clinton, he's the only president I ever heard of that went back to his high school reunion. To me, that is very cool. To me, that is the only reason I would want to be president, just so I could go back to my high school reunion. Just to walk up to that snotty cheerleader and go, oh, still too busy for the leader of the free world? Hey, how's your husband's Amway franchise? How's that working out? See, that is very cool. And of course, President Clinton had some wonderful, wonderful international triumphs, such as bringing the Arabs and the Israelis together. Remember that day in the Rose Garden? Remember when they were all in step? I have never seen anything. Show that footage. Take a look. And let me tell you something. You know, the media loves to delve into the lives of our presidents, the private lives of our presidents. Right, there's an autobiography out right now that says Abraham Lincoln may have been gay. Have you seen the story? You know what I'm talking about? It says Abraham Lincoln may have been gay. You see that? A guy goes to the theater one time, and right away, he's got to be gay. But you know, see, some politicians are immune to this kind of scrutiny, like Madeleine Albright. How does she get away with it? Remember that little incident with the Italian foreign minister? Why didn't you people in the press go after her for that? Take a look. You see what I'm talking about. Take a look.
We are operating to try to bring to an early end this conflict that is so painful for everybody. Ooh. Well, thank you very much.
Where was the press then? And God bless President Clinton always managed to outlast his critics, like Ken Starr. Remember how arrogant Ken Starr was? Remember when he was Remember when he was questioned, how arrogant he was during that investigation? Take a look.
There's no smoking allowed in the building, Mr. Starr.
What are you going to do? Arrest me?
Of course, like everybody else in the press, very excited about this upcoming election, huh? Gore versus Bush, the thriller in vanilla, ladies and gentlemen. Paper or plastic, what do you want? Harvard man versus a Yale man. See, in this country, any preppy can grow up to be president of the United States. This is going to turn into a real polo match come November. You watch. You watch. See, I often wonder about some of the people that fell out early. You know, some of the people that lost the prime, like Elizabeth Dole. Like I heard a lot of you press people say, oh, she's not tough enough. She wasn't tough enough to be president. Not tough. This is a woman who's seen Bob Dole naked, okay? Huh? You want to talk tough. Put that visual in your mind for just a sec. Of course, the big question, who's going to be the vice presidential nominee for the Republicans? Now, Elizabeth Dole says she wants the job, but I believe it was on Meet the Press with Tim Russert. Bob Dole thought he said John McCain or Christine Whitman might be a good choice. Huh? Get the feeling Bob won't be needing a refill on that Viagra prescription anytime soon, huh? And what's that all about? One day you're almost president, the next day you have erectile dysfunction. How does that work? You may be sadder about leaving office than you thought. Yeah, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God! But God bless Bob Dole. Have you seen his you've seen Bob Dole's latest Viagra commercial? Take a look. I'm going to miss a lot of the guys. Steve Forbes. I love Steve Forbes. I liked his economic plan. It was called Inheritance. And Steve Forbes said he learned a lot in Iowa. For example, he was thrilled to find out there were other parts of the cow besides the filet mignon. And of course, everybody's an outsider now. You know, Gore has moved his campaign headquarters to Nashville. Bush, of course, he's down there in Texas. Why does everybody want to be an outsider? Why is Washington the only place in the world where lack of experience is considered an advantage? I mean, if you're in the hospital, a guy come up to you and go, listen, I've never been to medical school. I've never even seen ER. But if you just let me try this liver transplant, I know I can do it. And Gary Bauer, of course, Gary Bauer out there campaigning on an anti-gay platform, which of course fell apart after that pancake breakfast. Remember that little incident in New Hampshire? Remember what happened? Show what happened behind the scenes. You'll see why. Take a look. Of course, Orrin Hatch. Orrin Hatch had a great campaign slogan, didn't he? I don't know who the hell I am either. That didn't have much, no. Bill Bradley, what was his? Bradley, the other white guy. Yeah, that didn't work. And of course, his heart problems. Bradley's campaign kept saying his heart condition was nothing serious. They had to jolt his heart back into rhythm. Yeah. See, what the doctor said was apparently Bill Bradley is so boring that his heart would fall asleep. I have to go in and give him a shot, yeah. But actually, one of the most talked about political ads of the past year was one where Michael Jordan endorsed Bill Bradley, and I thought it was a very credible ad until 2 minutes later I saw another ad where Michael Jordan was talking to Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny, and then I went, oh, not very much. And of course, Alan Keyes, God bless him, he's still out there, isn't he? Alan Keyes still running, going state to who thought the Republicans would one day be the party of the angry black man, huh? How about that? Who saw that coming? And of course, Donald Trump. That was my favorite. Donald Trump running for president. You know, he once said in an interview, people just want to be told the truth. And he's the type of guy, the type of straight shooter that people would vote for. Really? A real estate developer who's a casino owner who wants to be a politician? Isn't that pretty much the triple crown of lying right there? Huh? What is that? Why don't you become a used car dealer too while you're at it? See, I wish Trump would have run. You know, Trump was the only candidate that never admitted to experimenting with drugs. He said he never, ever did drugs. But actually, Trump did say he came close to doing cocaine one time. He said, but when he leaned over and he saw his reflection in that mirror, he realized it doesn't get any better than this. And as you know, Pat Buchanan, he left the Republican Party. Apparently all that talk about compassion scared him away. Yeah. Of course, George W. Bush, calling himself the compassionate conservative. Really? You know, this guy's fried so many people. Instead of governor, they should be calling him the colonel. Don't they? No. Please vote by the number of the joke. Of course, Bush says he's trying to attract more people to the Republican Party. He says he wants to create a big tent, which is also the Republicans' policy on housing for the poor. Just get a big tent. You know, a lot of people picked on Bush for not being sharp, and I think one reason why they thought that was that little incident that happened in the Texas primary. Well, show Bush voting. You'll see what I'm talking about. Now, keep your eye on him here. Take a look. Morning, everybody. How are you? As you know, George W. Bush said the philosopher he most identifies with is Jesus Christ. And I was thinking about that. I was trying to figure out which party Jesus would belong to. You know, he could have been a Democrat because he liked working with the poor. But then he could have been a Republican because, hey, he went into his father's business, you know? So could have gone either way. You know, it's sad, actually. I didn't enjoy seeing McCain and Bush attacking each other during the campaign. Remember the glory days of the Republican Party when they were all united against the poor and minorities? What happened there? What happened to those days? Actually, some of those debates between McCain and Bush were pretty exciting. Now, there was one where McCain really lost his time. I'm going to show you 3 little clips from the 3 debates, and, well, you'll see how these 2 men treated each other. Take a look.
They want reform. They want the government back because the people of Taiwan and the government of Taiwan recognize that the provocation of China would only lead to increase.
Sit down. I'm a victim of circumstance. Yeah, pull your head. Be quiet. Proceed to the case.
Let me say one thing about all this business, John.
I told you, I pulled them all down.
You didn't pull this ad.
Yes, I did.
This that ended up in the man's windshield yesterday?
That is not by my campaign.
What says paid for by John McCain?
Then you know it's interesting. You're talking about printed material that's mailed out. I don't know who was responsible for it, but I know that the attacks go on.
It's going to hurt the Republican Party, John, and I'm worried for this reason. And let me finish.
How did Ronald Reagan get elected in 1980?
Let
There's
me
no
finish.
such thing as soft money.
May I finish?
We can stop it now. We commit that to that, and
You do
we can
nothing
get the
about
special
what's called
interest
paycheck
money out of
protection.
American
There's
politics.
a lot of laboring
We can
people
give the
who are
government back.
Republicans and conservatives. And yet, under the vision you got, and spend it the way you see fit.
You hate to see that kind of thing. Of course, Al Gore, God bless him, he has troubles too. He's got that controversial advisor, what's her name, Naomi Wolf, on the payroll. Remember, she once said she thought it might be a good idea to teach masturbation in our public schools. Well, you can see why. You know, statistics show that our high school kids are now masturbating at just the 6th grade level. You know that? So, we can do better, people. We can do better. Al Gore, of course, served in Vietnam. He was a journalist. He was so good he won the Leonardo DiCaprio Medal for distinguished journalism. I guess you know that. The folks at ABC couldn't be prouder. In fact, not only did Leonardo get an interview with President Clinton while he was here, he got to sketch Helen Thomas in the nude. Many people don't know that. Yeah. But God bless Al, still the best fundraiser around. Boy, you ever see him work? Show him at a school. Take a look at this.
Good for you. Give me 5. There you go. All right.
Now, if Al Gore has a problem, it's probably the fact that he's not the hippest guy around. You know, he was up there in New Hampshire. You saw him up there. He actually worked the phones himself. He got on the phones and called voters, but not always with the best results. Take a look.
Hi, it's Vice President Al Gore.
What's that?
Excuse me?
What's that?
I'm not joking.
But one thing about Al, always trying to connect with the young people. Always trying to connect. In fact, here's a product that was not particularly successful, but God bless him for trying. Take a look.
Look out! Grenade!
Hey kids, if it's action you're looking for, go for the Gore. Al Gore. New Al Gore comes with a suit and debate podium grip action.
Look, he's ready to discuss foreign policy. Wow!
Al Gore says up to 50 different things.
We're the natural leader of the world. I don't think that's a chauvinist American statement. I think it's a statement of fact. People respect us as Americans because we're brave people. We try to uphold.
I don't want it!
The Al Gore action figure. It's easy to carry and can be brought on any trip.
I think that a president must have a vision of the future that is compelling enough to bring people into a common effort to bring to the president.
The new Al Gore action figure. Available at all toy stores for Christmas. Podium sold separately.
Al Gore! Of a bright future for our country, and I've been talking about it during this campaign.
I'll tell you something fascinating about this election. You know, you look at the fact that Bush can only answer 1 out of 4 questions, that reporter in Boston quiz. McCain made some racial slurs. Pat Buchanan wrote a book, make him look like a Nazi sympathizer. Gore hired the aide who advocates teaching masturbation. Wouldn't it be strange if we look back and one day realized, oh my God, Dan Quayle was the smart one. Huh? How frightening would that be? And let let me tell you something. The Democrats, why do they constantly pick on Strom Thurmond and play tricks on Strom Thurmond? Like this little incident. You remember this. Take a look.
The senators will take their seats. All the others will remove themselves from the floor. Under the previous order, and a quorum having been established, the Senate will proceed under the previous order.
There is no call for that, ladies and gentlemen. I am sorry. And of course, the First Lady is here. Now, you know, the First Lady took a lot of grief for wearing that baseball cap, but I know, right? You are a confirmed baseball fan. Didn't you sit next to Sammy Sosa at the State of the Union? Do you see? This, well, here we go. This will show you just how a confirmed baseball fan. Show that footage from the State of the Union address. There's Sammy. There you go. It doesn't get any bigger than that, ladies and gentlemen. That is a baseball fan. And God bless her, also a tireless campaigner. She did something I have never seen anyone do, go into Grand Central Station and actually shake hands with New Yorkers. My God, and you know what happened there. Well, show that footage. Take a look.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello. Good morning. Great day. Good morning. I'm glad to see you up close. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. I was up there a lot, but I'll be back.
Of course, there are all kinds of ways to finance a campaign, too. And of course, now you can just charge it. You've probably seen this commercial.
Learning to play golf correctly, $500. Gift liquor baskets for the Democrats, $100,000. Getting a grown-up haircut, $650. Etiquette lessons, $700. Having a senator in your pocket for an NRA vote, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Now, see, the thing I want to know is, why do the ads always have to be so negative? These attack ads, the American public doesn't like them. I'm going to show you a couple of ads, local ads that ran in California for some fringe candidates. And here, you be the judge.
He says he's not one of the fat cats. He denies his ties to the milk lobby. If that's true, what's he trying to cover up? Vote dog. Dog says he's smart, but every time his owner pretends to throw the ball, he falls for it. Dog says he doesn't have a drinking problem. What do you think? Vote cat. Cat. Can you really trust him? One minute he's rubbing up against your leg. The next minute he's rubbing up against the leg of a table. Cat says he can't remember anything before 1974. Do you wonder why? Vote dog. Dog. He says he stands for family values. Does this look like family values? Haven't we seen this type of behavior before? Vote cat.
I'm sorry, I had to do one. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry, Mr. Brown, I had to throw one in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel terrible. I just had to do one. I'm sorry. It'll never happen again. Don't audit me. I don't want to go back to Cuba. Well, let me tell you, you know, as I look on, I see obviously many famous Washington correspondents. My favorite, obviously not. You know what my favorite? Oh, Charles Kuralt. I love Charles Kuralt. But see, he never got the big story, you know? Like Dan Rather, he got Nixon. Wallace, he got Vietnam. What did Charles Kuralt ever get? 3 bears came marching down Main Street today, as if to say, we're people too. See, that just... I always like how your news people are dependent on whether we're in a rating period or not. Like now we're in a ratings period. See, normally the news is Kosovo, an 8-part series, healthcare. Can we fund it? You ever notice when May comes along, suddenly it becomes strip searches at Catholic girls' schools? Are they necessary? Housewife. You ever seen him before?
Wasn't he in Independence Day?
Independence Day, the movie?
Yeah.
Who would he have been in that? I don't remember.
Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid. Think he's on TV?
Yeah, he's
commercials?
He's probably on TV.
Yeah, what do you think he does?
Maybe infomercials?
Infomercials for donuts?
Donuts.
Donuts, yeah.
What's that lady's name? Florence?
Florence Henderson?
Henderson.
That's Florence Henderson. That's very good.
She was in that show in the 70s.
What show?
Where the rock and roll band and...
Show in the 70s.
When they would run that bus.
The Partridge Family?
Yeah.
Come on, get happy. Who's that?
Sandy Duncan.
Sandy Duncan. Sandy Duncan, very good. Which one's the good eye?
This is the one on the right.
One on the right.
I don't know. She looks like Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah.
She looks like Kathy Bates, but I guess it isn't.
No, not Kathy Bates. What do you think she does?
Give people a hard time.
Gives people a hard time.
Oh, gosh. Jack Kevorkian, maybe?
Jack Kevorkian.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He looks like Jack Hammond. But I don't think it is. Jack Hammond?
Jack Hammond?
Jurassic Park, the guy.
Oh, the Jurassic Park guy. You got it.
That's not Regis, is it?
Yeah, you got it.
Nope. Are these famous people?
That's what we're trying to find out.
That's Bob Barker.
Bob Barker from The Price is Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, she's hot. That's Lucy Liu from Ally McBeal.
Exactly.
That's the one that was in Basic Instinct. What was her name?
Sharon
Stone.
Sharon Stone. Do you remember her face from Basic Instinct?
Yeah, it looks like her.
Yeah.
That's like Sharon Stone.
What do you think he does?
Oh, he's an actor.
An actor, yeah.
It's the guy from 007, isn't it?
007, Pierce Brosnan?
Yeah, there you go.
Very good, you got it.
Are there any black people in here?
No.
That's Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
Is that Harrison Ford?
Close.
Close.
He wishes.
King.
King. Martin Luther. Martin Luther King. Who's that?
Is that Linda Tripp?
Linda Tripp. That's right.
Yeah?
That is Linda Tripp. Boy, you got it. You know your
Yeah.
politics.
Still no black people.
No. What kind of there may be here? There might be some
That's
black
why
people.
they call it the White House.
Okay. Ellen DeGeneres. No.
Very close. Very close. Folks, one last thing. Now, you know, you've all picked on President Clinton, but how do White House correspondents behave? Like, you see them out front there, and they got the nice suit or the raincoat, and they're doing the little stand-up thing. But when you take a White House correspondent, you send him to California. Suppose he doesn't know the camera's on him. Suppose he stopped by the Tonight Show. How would he behave? Take a look. I don't think we want to see Wolf get naked. Okay, that's about enough of that. Ladies and gentlemen, say what an honor and a thrill this has been. And President Clinton, thank you, and the First Lady for being terrific sports. And boy, you know, if you want a president, you'd be a great comic. Boy, you have a good sense of timing. From one comic to another, you were really, really funny. So God bless you, sir. God bless the First Lady. Thank you all. Thankfully, talk to you tonight. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jay Leno. Finally, our thanks tonight to the person who organizes this dinner so well, Julia Whiston, the Executive Director of the White House Correspondents Association. And our thanks to you for joining us tonight. We invite you to stay and attend the receptions being hosted by news organizations in the hotel. We would ask you to remain in your seats until the President and First Lady, escorted by our new President and Vice President, have left the room. We hope you've enjoyed the evening. Good night.